Hi guys! What do we know about cheetahs? Many of you probably know that cheetahs are predators of the family Felidae, native to most countries in Africa and the Middle East. They are also the fastest of all land animals. They can accelerate to 110 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. Looking at cheetahs, you understand clearly nature created these animals to be skillful and fast predators. But this is just some general information from Wikipedia. Meanwhile, an African zoo has recently shown the true nature of these graceful, huge cats. These videos and photographs were initially shocking to many viewers, but after learning the story behind them, the surprised people watched them with fascination. Caretakers in one of the US zoos have recently brought small puppies to the cheetah's enclosure and left them there to live. Looking at it, one could expect the worst. Defenseless little puppies facing the monstrous predators. But things aren't always as they seem. In fact, this is an intentional move by the zookeepers, which was supposed to relieve the loneliness of the big cats that the big cats were suffering from. It isn't common knowledge, but cheetahs are free-loving, gregarious animals. So obviously, the limited space and loneliness of life in captivity causes them a lot of stress. Moreover, these big cats often have anxiety attacks. They rush about in their cages, acting recklessly, and they need emotional support. That's why puppies are brought to live with cheetahs, and it's not just about cohabitation. As it turns out, dogs are great at getting along with these predators. Of course, if you bring a puppy into an adult cat's cage, nothing good will come out of it, as the cheetah will simply treat it as lunch. However, a cheetah cub willingly comes in contact with the puppy. They start playing and socializing. A nervous cub grows into a cheerful pet that trusts people, just like a dog does. Growing up side by side, these animals become kind and, most importantly, make friends for life. What is more amazing? They actually recognize each other even after years of separation. This kind of story happened to Kumbali, a cheetah cub born on May 12, 2015, at the Metro Richmond Zoo. Unlike his siblings, he was born very weak. So weak that he couldn't even fight for food. His siblings hurt him, and he kept losing weight and became weaker every day. This little animal could have died if it wasn't for the concern of the zookeepers who decided to take decisive measures. They understood that the cub's life was hanging by a thread, and so they took him away from his mother to be bottle-fed. Over time, the cub gained strength and was able to eat on its own. Later, Kumbali was returned to his family's enclosure, but unfortunately, as it often happens in the animal world, the family rejected him. It was a difficult time for Kumbali. His family wouldn't accept him, and even though he was already physically healthy and very active, it was clear that he was missing something. He felt abandoned and depressed, lying down and staring into space all the time. Kumbali was obviously suffering from loneliness. The caretakers could no longer endure this heartbreaking sight and came to his rescue again. They decided that since his family rejected him, he needed a companion. That's exactly what he got, but a little later. As a matter of fact, finding a friend for the cheetah turned out to be a challenge. A lot had to be taken into account: age, size, and a dozen other things. And yet, they managed to find a perfect friend for Kumbali. Kego was a rescue puppy adopted from an animal shelter. He was saved from being put down. Even despite his young age, the poor puppy had already endured many hardships. He had been kept in dire conditions, in a shelter where dogs had no future. However, when animal rights activists discovered the place, they took pets to new shelters and started looking for new loving owners for them. That's how the zoo employees found Kego. The playful puppy was perfect for the role of Kumbali's companion, and he was of the same age. However, no one knew for sure if they would like each other and make friends, or if nothing would come of it. After all, new neighbors don't always get along. Their first meeting was very exciting. When Kumbali and Kego saw each other, they were quite timid. They looked at each other with apprehension and certain distrust. However, a real miracle happened very soon. Kego slowly walked towards Kumbali, sniffed him, and a moment later, it was clear that he liked Kumbali. He started pouncing and biting the baby cheetah, who, in turn, couldn't understand what was happening and why this creature was dragging his tail with its teeth. At first, the little cheetah was baffled by the sight of this new creature in front of him. But soon, he also began to show interest in the dog. As it turned out, Keigo's curiosity and friendly nature soon did its job, thereby proving once again that dogs are the best companions to anyone. However, the zoo employees couldn't even imagine that the friendship between the two different species, albeit with the same fate, would be that strong. Nobody expected what this friendship would result in. Over time, Kumbali simply refused to leave his new friend's side, and they even had to be put together in one enclosure. Their brotherly bond grew stronger and stronger with every day, and they played together all day long, inventing new games. Zoo visitors adored their games of hide-and-seek and tag. This couple spent their days fooling around together, not even noticing that they were growing up quickly. It's also surprising that Keigo always protected his wild brother, while Kumbali, despite being a predator, let his friend eat first, patiently waiting his turn. It seemed the two were unaware of being in the zoo. They paid no attention to people at all and played in the fresh air for days on end. They became truly inseparable, sleeping together and giving each other hugs all the time. From the moment of their first encounter, these two have been doing absolutely everything together, from sleeping to eating and playing in the fresh air. Every year, zoo workers give them presents because their birthdays are on the same day now. Keigo and Kumbali even open gifts together, like brothers. In several years spent together, their relationship developed into something more than just friendship. Their special bond made them friendlier to others. They are always eager to meet new inhabitants of the zoo, and of course, people. Watching the happy buddies is a true pleasure, and they've already become the informal face of this place. Not so long ago, a bunch of other tough guys moved into the neighboring enclosure, and they aren't to be messed with. We're talking about penguins, of course. Initially, they all watched each other with apprehension, but when the caretakers allowed Keigo and Kumbali to visit their new neighbors, something incredible happened. In the first seconds of this encounter, the penguins pecked at their visitors, but they soon began playing with them, each in their own way, and it really looked very funny. But the funniest one was probably their recent neighbor, a little pig, who now gets on this couple's nerves the most. They do not know it yet, but this little pig chasing after them will soon become a huge 100-kilogram animal, and then it will be even more interesting to watch them play. It's been a while since these two animals met, but the cheetah and the dog continue living in the same enclosure and enjoying every new day. They do everything together, entertaining visitors with their playful races, cute hugs, and tender relationship. Thus, this story once again proves to all of us that even different species of animals can get along well and create incredibly strong friendships, which isn't always true for people. Perhaps we have something to learn from them. So guys, did you like this unusual couple? Do you believe in true friendship? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you soon. Bye.